All right, welcome back to the Vintage Sanctuary. I have been out for a while. We took an Alaskan cruise with my wife's side of the family. Had a great time. I love Alaska. It's just beautiful, and it was kind of warm here, but it was cool there, so it was really just great timing in that regard. And ate way too much at the buffet, but my friend Dave, Legends of the Dugout, told me, hey, everybody does that. I've been on a few cruises. I still haven't figured out sensory overload. I see all of that buffet, and I skipped some lunches. That was one of my strategies. I tried to work out a lot in the workout center on the cruise ship, and so that maybe helped a little bit, but I still was eating way more than I need. So hey, if I try another cruise, I guess back to the drawing board, see if I can do a little better as far as not eating so much. But I tell you what, the highlight of the cruise, and I know this is a little self-serving, one day I was working out in their, weight room exercise area, and the worker there, I was chatting with him a little bit and told him I was 61, and he's like, "You're 61?" And, I had my workout clothes on. He's like, "There's no way, there's no way." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm like, you can look me up." He's like, I'm like, "It's okay. You can look me up, in the cruise records." And he was like, "Oh, you're going to have to tell me everything you do, like about how do you keep yourself in shape at 61?" So, just made my day. Then I told my wife, and she was like, "Yeah, like whatever." So that's kind of how it goes. She was just a little jealous that, they didn't say that to her, but she didn't really go to the workout room too much. Well, on to cards. You've probably heard of pumpers and dumpers. That, of course, if you don't know, is somebody who will talk up. It doesn't have to be cards. It could be just about anything, really. But they'll obtain some cards, say duplicates of the same card. They'll talk them up. These are going to be the greatest investments ever in the near future. They're getting ready to take off. They are exploding in value. Get it now before you miss out, before it's too late. You don't want to be the nincompoop, the buffoon that did not buy these now. While they're on the rise, while everybody else is just making money, you don't want to be that sucker that's left behind, right? That sort of thing. And then they dump them. They make a profit, maybe a pretty big profit. I am not endorsing this by any means. I actually think it's despicable. Well, I like to get multiples of certain cards, and I'm starting to embrace more. I've tried to kind of limit myself on multiples, and I'm still going to seek to limit myself on multiples, but I'm starting to embrace it more, because for a while I was like, every time you get a multiple, that's some other card, that's funds that you can't put towards some other card. And that is true, of course, that's still true, that will always be true. But there's certain cards I just want multiples. Why? Because I love the card. I think it's really cool. And yes, because I think it's got potential to go up in value. And so, I want to get some of them now so I can leverage that. If they do go up in value, I can keep all of my copies, or I can maybe, sell a few of them to fund some other card purchases and keep the rest. And if they go down in value or don't go up in value, if it's a card I really love, and those are the only cards I buy multiples of, then, I still have the cards, I can enjoy them. So it's a win-win. You cannot lose. So am I a pumper and dumper? No. I'm calling myself, for cards where I collect duplicates, I'm calling myself a pumper gatherer. That's it. I'm a pumper gatherer. Now, you've heard of hunter gatherers, hunting and gathering food, kind of hearkening back to, well, in my opinion, I think we were created, but maybe this is hearkening back to, I don't know if it's an evolutionary theory. I think it probably is, but this idea that, some were hunters, some evolved as hunters, some as gatherers in order to get food and supplies and that sort of thing. So you've got your hunter-gatherers. I am a pumper-gatherer. What the heck does that mean? That means for certain cards, I gather multiples, and I absolutely pump them up. I'm like, oh yeah, I think this is an awesome card, And what's the deal? It's not my best strategy. Here's why. Because as I pump them up, now I don't have much influence, probably very little, but they might go up in value, probably not because of my influence, but just they might. Sometimes they do, and then I have to pay more. So I should just, if I could learn to shut my mouth and just be a silent gatherer, that would be much better. But I am a pumper gatherer. I pump them up and say, oh yeah, these cards are awesome. I bet they'll be worth more. I think they're going to be. But whether they are in the future or not, I absolutely love them. We are talking about the 83-84 Star set, the very first Star set when they had the exclusive license for basketball, NBA basketball for 3 years. We're talking about number one, the number one card in that set. They honored Dr. J, the doctor, the definition of just grace on the basketball court. MJ modeling his game, modeling his style after Dr. J. And you know what? I think I'm a huge MJ fan. Michael Jordan, but I'll tell you what, I actually don't think he achieved Dr. J grace and style. I don't think he quite got there. Nobody has the style like Dr. J. He's my favorite NBA player. He's become my favorite NBA player. Just wow, poetry in motion. So they honored Dr. J with card number one. In the very first base set ever. And for 1980 standards, these cards, there aren't that many of them for a couple of reasons. One, because Star had much lower production runs than what was going on in the day. And number two, because they had production issues, quality control issues. Now they contracted out printing to a couple of different printers, but they had quality control issues, some would say throughout their entire 3-year span, which is true, but particularly with that first base set. And that affected certain team sets, such as the 76ers, so that they had to throw out a lot of their attempts. And therefore, there just aren't that many around, estimated less than 1,000. For a base card of Dr. J, his only base card of that year, number one in the set, the very first ever base Star card. Come on, man. Prior to this video, I had four of them. But yesterday, I got number 5. Maybe it was 2 days ago. I got number 5 in the mail. I'm going to show you all 5. We're going to talk our way through them. Let me turn this camera around. Woo! Let the Pumper Gatherer extravaganza begin. Woohoo! All right, I got the sticky notes. I've spared no expense here in terms of technology. So the first copy that I obtained was August 2022 for $65. Now I'll show you all of these and take the stickers off in just a minute, but kind of want to walk through this. That was me being cheap, so to speak, relatively cheap. I wanted, not to spend too much. So I got a 6 for $65. And then a little bit later, January of 2023, I thought to myself, or sometime around there, and, I thought to myself, I should maybe get a higher grade because that does tend to appreciate more. So even though I was happy with my 6, why not pick up another before prices potentially go up? So I got an 8.5 for $120. And then February of this year, so, fast forward a couple of years from then, from my second pickup, I get the third pickup. February of this year, a PSA 5. Boy, they are grading tough. Nice card, $73. And then July of this year, I got a BCCG, Beckett Collectors Club grading 8, which is actually excellent or better. So, I think the card would probably be like a 5, depending on how strictly one wants to grade. For $40, it was had a low start. I think I'd starting bid of $10. Before there were any bids, I reached out to the seller, offered him $40. He took it. And then the one I have not shown that just came in the mail a couple days ago, a BGS 8 for $175. Now notice an 8.5 for $120, an 8 for $175. I actually think the 8 at $175, that was, a solid deal. The seller wanted $250. We went back and forth and agreed to my best offer of $175. So that, $120 for an 8.5 up to $175 for an 8 over a couple of years kind of represents some of the increase in value that has occurred for this card. All right, without further ado, let's check them out one by one. So this beauty right here, I'll let you see the subs there. It's just surface. Now, these tend to have surface issues because they had trouble with ink saturation on the front and the back. We'll see this as we look at a couple of the other cards. It will become obvious. This one, I think, is a 6. Actually, I'm not sure what's... This one looks really nice. There's some hidden reason it's a 6. I don't remember what it is. Or maybe nobody knows. But there it is, card number 1. What a beauty. I tell you what, Star, they did fantastic jobs with color matches, especially with their 83-84 set. All right. So they honored him with number 1, not only, being a superstar at the time, but the year before, 82-83. I can't remember if I mentioned this. The 76ers had won the NBA championship. They got Moses Malone. He was a big part of that. And this was Dr. J, still a dominant force in 83-84. And now, January of 2023, so a little bit later, I decided to pick up a higher grade. I'll let you see the subs there. And got this 8.5. Now, off-center to the left is pretty common for this card. And I think, this would definitely go for quite a bit more now. Now, I say it definitely would. Of course, sales can vary. Some sales can go high. Some sales can go low. But at least on average, this would typically go for more now. So I'm happy, stoked I picked that up when I did. And such a beauty there. And then we fast forward to this year. $73, February of this year. February. Who can say February? Here it is. Now, this is a 5 by PSA. They are so picky. Now, this one's got just amazing centering. It's got a little, might show up right about there. There's a little indentation right about there. It's not showing up very well right now, but it's there. It doesn't want to show. It's shy. So, which to me is almost nothing. Now, this does have a little bit of a, like these are bright white, and this is a little bit cream colored. I don't know if that went into the grade, but I was stoked to pick this up for $75. You can see a little of that printing issue on the back. It tended to show up. The extra ink tended to show up just sort of at like some mottled blotchiness or dots or whatever. All right, and then July of 2025. I tell you what, $40 for this card is a steal. A steal. Now, this is Shanko pedigree. Shanko bought from the Star Company president, I think Robert Levin, I believe was his name, bought his leftover stock of cards. And so when Beckett graded this, they gave it that Shanko pedigree because it came from that leftover stock. Look at his face there. Let's compare it to this 6. Notice face is clear on the BGS 6, but on the BCCG 8, which is really more like a 5, look at all that color on his face and on his right arm, which of course is on the left of the picture. You can see a little more ink down there as well, kind of a little... Some of them have this blue dot. So, $40. The grade here probably brought down because there's just a little tiny paper wrinkle right about there. That's pretty trivial. Doesn't come through onto the back, but it's there. And in addition, you've got that oversaturation of ink. So, but hey, $40 is a steal for any copy of this card. And now the one I have not shown before for $175 that I just got in the mail a couple days ago. This 8. Now notice it's got a little bit of that. You can see it just a little on the arm, just a little on the right side of his face, which of course is on the left in the picture. Just a little start of that over ink saturation. You can really see it on this BCCG card, but you can see just a little of it coming in. That was one of the main production issues there. Other than that, though, really sharp, really nice card. Let me show you those subs. There's the back. You can see just a little bit of the mottled. So the extra ink would show up kind of mottled on the back, and then on the kind of mottled or speckled on the back, but then on the front, of course, it shows up as basically painting his body. Yeah. So let me move this over a little bit. Let's check those out. Whoa. Woo. Woohoo. This is the pumping part. Remember, I'm a pumper gatherer. Got a pump here. Woohoo. 83, 84 star, number one, numero uno. Oh yeah, Dr. J, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Going up in value as we speak. Pumping these bad boys up. Whether they go up, down, or stay the same, I absolutely love them. Look at that. What do you think, man? I don't know. I guess we all like to collect differently. We all have a collector's style, but I'm going to move this light down a little bit. Look at that. So into these 5, if I've done the math correctly, I got $473 tied up into these 5, plus a little bit for shipping, so probably around $500. No sales tax because I live in Oregon, so that's kind of nice. So yeah, even with shipping, I'm at about 500, maybe a little bit less possibly for these 5. How crazy is that? Now, all I have to do is just sit here and wait and pump and gather. Oh, yeah. Let me turn this camera around. Oh, man. Move this light up a little bit. Whoop. Turn this camera around. All right, the pumper gatherer. Woo! Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to pay more. Am I going to get more of these? Maybe. I'm kind of an opportunist, so I look for, I try to get one at the right price, which either means at an auction or I'll make an offer, even if it's priced at a buy it now that I think is high. If there's an offer option, or I might reach out to the seller. I mean, the deal is there's other cards I'm looking to obtain, not duplicates, just lots of other cards I'm looking to obtain, a few cards where I am looking for duplicates. So, it's not like I'm just working on this particular card and getting more and more copies of it. I'm doing all sorts of other things in the hobby, like most of us, where we might not get around to a certain aspect of our collection and adding to it for quite some time. So who knows? I could end up with more of these. I'd be happy to have a dozen of them. I'd be stoked. I believe in this card. I believe in it in 2 ways. One, do I think it'll be worth more on average in the future over time? I think there's a great chance of that. But number 2, whether that happens or not, to me, this is just an absolutely outstanding card. Oh yeah, pumper gatherer. Woohoo! Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Take care, my collecting brothers and sisters.